We will be starting in next 3 minutes. Am I audible or my screen is clearly visible now? So hello everyone, welcome back to the next session of Android Study Jam series. Today we are going to work on GitHub and Git and the new two programming track one. So first of all, uh, I share some links with you. So there are track link, then DSCPU YouTube link, then session two slides link, LinkedIn, Twitter, Insta, and Git sheet, which we are going to which will be helpful on working with GitHub. All links are there in this in the message I have sent you. So just first of all, we are going to just recall what we have done in the last session. So you can connect with me through LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and mail. Okay. So recap from we have done what is Android Study Jam. Android Study Jam is a community-based study group where a group of people help each others and learn how to develop Android programs on a particular structured curriculum. Okay. So next, there were two track new to programming and have prior programming experience, and today we are going to work on new to programming, and this all are the basics things we have learned. What are pre-requesting, basic computer literacy, and basic math skills. So these are the pathways in track one, new to programming. There are total 6 pathways in track one and 2 units, which are divided like four pathways in track 1 and two pathways in track 2. Then there is a second part we have discussed about prior programming experience track, which is our second track. So the prerequisites are you must be familiar with one of any prior programming language, which is object oriented language, and familiar with how to use Android Studio IDE, and familiar with GitHub. So today we are going to cover up Git and GitHub concept also. So there are 10 to overall 10 pathways in track 2, divided in 2 units, each having five pathways. Then learning objectives are building your first Android app, setting up Android Studio on your computer, learn the basics of Kotlin programming, and discover resources to continue learning. So before starting with this, today we are going to just let me change my sharing screen so that you can know about Git and GitHub. First of all, we are going to cover about that stuff. Even we have installed Android Studio in the last session. If you are having any problem, you can go to our YouTube channel, our Android session 1 link, and you can find their reference video is also there, and all the important links are also there in the description of that video. Am I audible clearly now? Please respond in the chat box. Now my screen is clearly visible, or is there any blur in the screen? Okay, so we are moving to. So this is GitHub. GitHub is a place where you store your projects. It can be in any language. So you need to sign in from here. You have to create an account. With registered, you can with using your email ID, and you have to verify your account here and create your account. Then go to sign in. Just hold for a minute. So this is the interface of GitHub, and you have to go to this. Go to your profile, go to repositories, and you have to create a new repository here. You have to give a name, like I'm going to give my first application. Public, create repository. So this is a this is your repository created. So this is your link from where you have to create your GitHub URL. You have to clone this URL using Git. So first of all, we are going to now download Git. You have to go to this Git, download Git. Sharing it in the chat box. Who already know about Git, they can rest for 5 to 10 minutes as there are more first year students. So we are going to cover up Git and GitHub account. They can directly, who have GitHub accounts, they can directly sign into their GitHub account. You have to download according to your Windows, according to your operating system, Mac, Windows or Linux. Downloadation is started. If your PC is 32-bit, then you can go for here and download 32-bit setup for your Windows PC. So Git is downloaded. Install the Git. Next. So I have already one GitHub Git installed in my setup. You have just to do next and install it. Uh, I'm waiting. When your installation is done, just send done. If you have any issues, you can ask me here in the chat box. Installing Git in your system. After that, we will go for furthers in Git. What we have to do with our repositories. How to clone those repositories. I'm just waiting for 5 minutes as everyone get done. We will go further. Go on further. You when you have created your account in GitHub, go to your profile or your repositories. Click on this new button. Is it visible? This new button. Click on this. Then give the name to your repository. Then if you want to add readme file, that means it shows about what project you are working on. No info about your projects and all. It's are there in readme file. If you add .git ignore, if you add git ignore, it will create template which files are not supposed to be uploaded in your Git. You can select which language you are working on. Like we are going to work on Android, so there is Android option. If you are working on Kotlin, it's Kotlin option also there. this is a git ignore dot git ignore file, so that when you upload your repository, upload your project to your GitHub, it will ignore some files so that it doesn't make mesh out there, which can be recreatable when you re-download your project. And just click on this create repository after giving name. If you want to give description, you can give description too. Understood, Dipesh? So how many of you have downloaded Git, or anyone having problem with downloading Git or installing with Git? Okay, Smith. After downloading Git from Chrome, link is already there in the chat box. On yes. Next, next, next. It will automatically install. Smith got it. We use Git. We can do both. Directly, we can upload our files, but doing good practice using Git. Git is a terminal which help you to run Git commands so that you can push your repositories. You can upload your projects to GitHub. Harsh got it. No, Vishal, you don't have to open Git's UI. I will show you what you have to do. Okay, I will show you once again repositories. Okay. So last time I'm showing repositories. Anyone else is having problem? Just see carefully. Go to your repositories. Click on this new button, green color. Visible now. This one. Click on this. Give a name to your repository. Then if you want to give description about your repository, what does it contain? You can give description too. Is it public or private? You have to choose others can see or not, or it's private so that you can only see or your organization can see that. That's why we have private option too. You can add a readme file where you will write down about information about your projects, your project, and what contains in that. When you can then it's git ignore, you can add dot git ignore file in which some files are not supposed to be uploaded on GitHub, so that it will ignore, because those files recreate automatically when you download those projects from GitHub to your PC while running it. And then click on create repository. Is it clear, Om? Now? Okay, so now we are going next where we have to clone our repositories. We are going to use Git bash here. You have to right click and click on this Git bash here. It will open a small terminal. You can maximize. Visible the terminal. Okay. Then I have shared one sheet with you, that is Git sheet. First of all, you have to config using this git config username, then valid email ID. Username must be this is your username. Just hold. Hello, hello. So first of all, you have to config using this command git config global username and your username here. Then you have to write your email ID, valid email ID from which you have registered in your GitHub account. Then you have to write git status so that you will get to know that is GitHub repository created or not. When you are now next we have to clone our GitHub repository. So GitHub repository, your my first application. I'm just cloning this. This is your link which you have to copy. Then you have to click on uh, right command git clone. Wait for minutes. You have to write git clone, then your paste your URL here. So it will clone. I have already cloned, so it shows already existed an empty directory. So this way you have to clone. For the we will talk about push and pull afterward, after creating one project in GitHub, after creating a project in Android. So I'm discontinuing this stuff right now. We are going to the next part, that is Android basics in Kotlin. Kotlin basics. So Kotlin basics for Android. So this is a first pathway, introduction to Kotlin. This is a video you can watch. It's an optional video you can watch. Then which app we are going to build in Kotlin first. This is also a video you just watch by yourself. And now we are going to start how to write program in Kotlin. This is a code lab. So before we begin, we need to prerequisites are you must have a Chrome installed in your Chrome or Microsoft Edge, so that you can have an interactive Chrome web browser. Then we are going to next we are going to run a first app and start with a, so we are going on this Kotlin playground, where we are going to code. So this is a playground where we are going to code our environment provided for Kotlin language. So I'm just sharing the link. This is a playground area. I will take the questions at the end of the FAQ time. So this is our playground where we have to code our Kotlin language basics. We are going to start with basics of Kotlin. So for this is our main function, and here we define function by writing fun. And for printing, we write println to write in a new line. And we for if you want to continue writing in same line, we use print. And from here we are going to run. So hello world, you can see we have run this same stuff. You can also try this stuff. Then now we are going to modify our program by writing some new lines, that is going to work on some of new print lines, that is print ln. Android study jam. So you can see when we have written print and println will be printed after this. When you print something, it will printed in next line. But if you just write print, it will print in the same the next statement will be printed in the same line. If I write here println, so it will now printed in two different lines. So back to this, that we have seen that fun is a keyword used for defining a function, and main is our main function where the main execution of code starts. And this is an examples, printing happy birthday and all. Then we are extending our program just by writing two or three more lines in the same print. Now you get we are just now working with some of errors. If you don't write this colon, run your program. So unresolved reference welcome Android and jam. It will show in which line you have issue with this welcome error in your code. Just click unresolved. That means in print line you have not given inverted codes, and you don't have to write semicolon after completing a single line, single statement. So we shall wait for few minutes. It or refresh it. So this is our basic first line where we are learning about function keyword fun keyword for function main program main and println. You can read it by yourself. Summary of this all stuff, and there are resource links at the end of session. You can print yourself where where the task is given to you. Instead of println, you can write also slash n to compute those program next statement in next new line. So this is a second code lab. So already we have learned about println and println function, println in Kotlin, how to write print. So we have done this stuff, that function println happy birthday to Rover. Come to Kotlin playground, run. That it's printed happy birthday Rover. You are already 5. 5 is the best age to celebrate. You can do this code lab. This code lab is basics, two basics given in Kotlin. So we are going with the Kotlin documents where somewhat high stuffs are given. We are just going with basic syntax of programs, functions and programs in for loops and all in Kotlin, how to write those stuffs. So first of all, we are going with the main function. The syntax to write main function is this fun main print hello world. You can even run your code here, and you can change source code to. This is the basic syntax of writing main function and print. Now we are coming with parameter functions with parameters. So you can see this. This is a function of sum, and variables are declared here is a. Yes, I just want to let you know that there are two types of variable you defined in this way. First is val, and second is var. Var a equals to 10 equals to 5. The difference between var and val is immutable, where var is mutable. This means that you cannot change the value of a after initializing as val. If I will try to reinitialize a equals to 15, it will give an error that val cannot be reassigned. But if I do with this b, it can be reassigned. That means you can change the value of var type variable, but you cannot change the value of val type variable. It's like Python, where in Python you don't have to give the variable type like it's integer, float, or uh, double. It takes the value and make that variable according to the value. So these are the two main types of val and var variables. So if function is given, uh, you have initialized a variable, some function you have initialized, you have created a sum function a equals to int and b is int type. These are the data types of two variables present in function, and its return type is also. This is the way we declare a return type in this. We don't write here like in which in other language we used to write int sum and all. Here we don't write this. Here we write fun, and return type is declared after closing this round parenthesis, and we give parent colon, then we write the return type, and we will return the summation of this both two. This is the main function where we have called how to we have called the sum function. Now you can see the output of sum function. Sum of 3 plus 5 is 8. Now function with expression, you have written this as sum, then you have initialized return type, and then you have written a plus b, where you can do this as, you can do this in this way too, that one sum a equals to int and b equals to int equals to a to b. You don't have to give curly braces, curly parentheses, and then you have to write c equals to a plus b or return a plus b. You can directly call the statements, it will execute. You can see this. Now variables, as I told you, the first variable is val a, and we have defined as a date. It's, we have already predefined its data type as int and given value as 1, and we have given b equals to 2. Int is the type interfed. When it will be compiled and run, the value the data type b will be get, it will be int as its value is 2. Here we have already defined the its data type, and we have not initialized its value. Now var is a var is a variable type in which we can reassign the value, but in val we cannot reassign a value to the variable. So you can x equals to 6, but if we do same in a equals to, as I shown in this, a equals to 15, it's just giving an error that val cannot be reassigned. Where well, how we give comments in Kotlin, we just write double backslash for single line comment, and for block of comment we just write slash backslash star, then star backslash. The whole part in the these two blocks will be omitted while compiling, and it will be considered as comment. You can nest both comment. You can give nested comments too. So this is a string type, string template. We have defined a var type variable a, which whose value is 1, and val type s1 variable. So we have defined it in string format. A is, in this way we call the value of other variable $a. This is the method in which we call other variables value. A, then we have reassigned value, as it's a var type, then we can reassign value val s2 equals to s1 dot replace. It's a replace function. This is, and we have printed. Now come to conditional. There are same way we write if fun of max, if then condition given here, is it less than, greater than, or less than, greater than, equals to, or equals to, then return a statement after executing this condition. If it's get true, it will return this statement. If it get false, it will go to the else statement and return this statement. We can write in this way also. This is the second way in which we can write if else directly. We don't have to give parenthesis, curly parenthesis, and we have just have to write directly. Here we are checking either x is null or not. That means any values assigned to x or y not. If assigned, it will return something else, or if not assigned, it will wrong number format in argument 2. So now come to for loop. First, we are going to talk about for loop. So in this way, this is the syntax of for loop, basic syntax of for loop. Here we write, we have assigned a val type items. It's a list of, so we have defined some apple, banana, and kiwi fruits in it. And we are running a loop in this item list. Then item in items, that means this is a variable. This is a variable which is calling all the items present in this item list, or we can call it by index. So this is the syntax of while loop. While and condition, curly bracket opens, then statement which are supposed to be executed repeatedly, then increase the value of this index variable. Then we have when expression. When is like in when expression we call when, then we provide a value which is passed in this. According to the value, it will select the result and it will provide you output. Like if object value is 1, so 1 is giving 1 output, this one. uh, it will directly go to the direct statement and give you the output. Then there is a range. You can if x is in y 1 dot dot y plus 1, y is 9 and y plus 1 is 10, you can provide range to, that means 1 to 10. If x fits in 1 to 10 or not, you can even provide 1 to 100 range. Check if a number is out of range, that last index 0 to list or last index, that is the list is defined and we are just going accordingly to the list. The same way, 4 is also written using a range function. So now this is a basic, and rest you can learn in the Kotlin docs. I'm just sharing the link. While completing the tracks, when come back, I need to give the quiz again to go to the next part. Is there any other alternative with the next track? You can directly, if you got the badge, if you get the badge, you don't need to give the quiz again and again. Just go on this g.co, start here, click on the start course button, then click on this explore. You can directly go on next pathway and complete that pathway. It's not mandatory that you go from one pathway to other. So you got the badge, you can directly go to second pathway. So now we are going to create a first app. You can even refer, if you have not installed the Android Studio, you can take the code lab for that too. It's a code lab for Android Studio. Now we are going to create a first Android app. Familiar with. So we are just selecting a template and giving name to, it's an happy birthday. It's an happy birthday greeting app. Let I open my Android Studio, click on new project, empty activity. This is the API level. According to the API level, if you select 10, so it shows less than 1% of devices, your app is going to work in less than 1% of devices. The less you go API, more devices your app is going to be run. So let's go with KitKat, and you have to select this language as Kotlin, then finish. Okay, it's just building. Now the screen is not blurred. Last time many of having issue with that screen is blurred. Please respond in the chat box. Screen is clear or not. Okay. So these are your project files. This is your main activity. It's just building. After building, it will give you a good way, good structure so that you can find it directly. But this is your main activity file where you are going to write your code, Kotlin language based codes to get its process, programs to get it processed. And this is your activity XML file. It's just building. That's why it's not visible right now. See, after building Gradle, it's just got in structure and directly get access to activities and your layout file, which we see in our phones. See this, there is hello world written in this. Hello world written in this. This is the UI which is interacted by user or shown to user. There is a two-way to design this UI. You can directly select buttons and image views and text views from here, or you can code and make code and design your application. My phone is visible. So let's run this APK. This is hello world. This is your first APK which you are going to create. Just processing in the background something. Gradle building is going on. Just wait till the Gradle builds. So you can see this, the Gradle is built already. Now we are going to run our APK. So for running our APK, you will get a button here as it has already been installed and run in the emulator. Otherwise, if you want to reinstall, you can click on this button, or if you just want to apply the changes you have made to your application, you have to click on this apply change and restart activity. So we are just restarting. So install successfully, and you can see this hello world is opened here. See this. So this is the app which we have created right now. This is a default app. When you will create an app in this Android Studio, now this is a summary in which we have already talked in previous session how to install and create your first application. So this is for USB debugging, which we have talked that to if you don't have good specs with your or RAM with in your PC, you can even go with USB debugging. That means making your uh, physical device as your physical device to run your applications. So to use that, you just have to turn on USB debugging mode, which is present in your setting about phone. Then tap on about phone, tap build number 7 times. Then enter your device pin or password if prompted. Then setting to rating. Then tap system. You will find developer option. Should now appear in the list. Move advanced in the option and tap developer option. Then turn on USB debugging. It will automatically install debugging. If not installed, you can go in setting and Android SDK tool, and can download this Google USB driver. When you will connect using your USB cable with your phone, you will this kind of pop-up message will come in your phone. You have to click on always allow from this computer, then click on OK. Click on OK. It will open. Select this. Then you can find your device here, like all other devices are here only. You can find your device to here. I'm just showing how your device will be shown. Now you can see this Samsung SM-A505F is also available, which is my physical device. So we are taking the quiz. So just okay, just give answers in the chat box. Who are having issues, they can contact me afterward of the session after session, or we can have the session at the after in FAQ round or Q&A. You can ask me your issues there too. Just I'm opening the quiz. You just write down the answers in the chat box within 2 to 3 minutes. So this is your first quiz. Last two answers. What about fifth, fourth, fifth? That fifth, sixth, fifth ABC, ABC or BC? I'm not seeing the answers. I'm just writing answers according to you. Last answer fast, guys. We are up to the time. Please, 6B. Okay. Submitting answers. Let's see what is the score. So it's 4 out of 6. So we have got some questions wrong. In this way, you will get your answers, results. When you will cross 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 7 or 5 out of 7, you will get a badge which will be reflected in your developer profile ID. Is it clear? Now you can give quiz in your tracks too. And we are moving with the next part. So we are designing a birthday card app continuing with the previous. So this is a video how our app is going to look like. You can see by yourself on YouTube. Now we are going to take a code lab to create a birthday card. Okay, so introduction in this code lab, we are going to simply learn Android app that display text. You will be able to position the text on the screen and understand more about user interface component in Android. So what are pre-requesting? You must have Android Studio and you have created a new app in that. And if you have emulator, or just if you don't have emulator, just connect an external device, physical device with it. So what we are going to create, this is already created by us. Now move to our Android Studio. So first we are going to just work with a designing part. So we are going to delete this. We have deleted. Now it's our plain screen which have nothing to it. So how our app looks like in this code lab, which we have seen in this previous. Okay, this is our app. Happy birthday Sam is written on the top and from Emma on the bottom. So we are just going to take this text view. You with this textbook, you can text view. You can write in this. This is a button. This is image view where you can get your image in your screen. You can give ID to it. So can you can recall it. You can call it in your .kt main activity file. You can change the text. So what was our text? So text was happy birthday Sam. We are going to write that text. So this is, okay. This is, you can see we have just got written as happy birthday Sam written here. So it's too small as compared to this. Now we are going to change its size. So you can search here size, click on this, then text size. You have to click, you can increase the text size. You can see this. In this way, you can change the size. Now we are going to code how it's looks like code in coding part how it's look like. So you have to take a text view like this. So this is a text view which we have taken for happy birthday Sam. This is its ID. We can call using this ID anywhere in this program. Then this is our size which we are going to change it to wrap contain, which means what is written in it, it will take it will change its size accordingly to the written text written in it. And if we change its size to 45, you can see it has got changed and its box has also got changed. Otherwise we have to re- reassign this size to this reassign the size to the text view. Now it will change according to the content present in it. LSP. Now we are going to take how to take this text view in coding part. You have to give this tag, then write text, then enter. It will give you this small snippet of code automatically written. Then you have to give the width, layout width. It's going to be wrap content and it's also going to be wrap content. Then close using s forward slash. You have to write in that. So first of all, we just want text. So we are going to write text. These many things stuffs are there with text label. So we are just writing text. It's going to be from. Are you getting, guys? From Emma. Now you can see, if we go in design, you can see it's on the top of this. Here it is. So this is Emma on the top of this. Now we are going to change its size, X size, size to 40. Size got change. You can see. Now we are going to change its position. We are going to constant. We are going to connect it with the end positions. In design, we just have to click on this button, take to the bottom, constant with the all the side. So we have just created a basic application which just show a happy birthday Sam from Emma. Now you can run this APK later. Now you can see it is just installing. Now you can see it's written here happy birthday Sam from Emma. What we have done here. So how to switch between a design view. So how to switch between, there's an option on the this right side. This is code split and design option. So you can only you can get your code. You can also get this code and split button where you can see the what code you are writing and what effect is going to be on the screen, and you just can have this design stuff also. I will recommend you to start with this design only. Just take buttons from here, change its attribute from directly here attributes, change its attribute like I have click written on the Sam, this text box. You can see text box present here. You will get all the attributes regarding this text view box, what you can change, size, paddings, and all. Smith, there is no, it's not a different it's not language you need to learn in this. You just need to have some basics like there are text views, there are different types of views present in here. Uh, you have some views like this is a constant view in which you make this any view with constant with your end of the box or with each other, like we can constant this to this from Emma. So it is constant with this Emma. It is connected with Emma. If I change the size of Emma from down, it will also get its size also will get changed. In code view, you just have to write the name. Like I have written text view. You just get to know about views, what views are there. See, you can get a pop up there what kind of view you know. If you want to show some text, you can have text view. If you want to show some image, you can have image view. If you want to have some button which you will you press and get some actions, you can have button. That image button, progress bar, edit text is a text view which will provide you to edit your text in your layout. So these are the layout present in here. You just have to use this layout, nothing more than that. A text views is taken, you get an option to wrap content. Wrap content, it's like what the content is in it, the size of content. If you increase the size of content, its box will also increase, the box size of box will also increase. It's like that only. Yeah, we are going to upload this session too. So we are going with this app. You can even go deeper by getting yourself into this code labs and going to the documents of Android Studio. This designing part can be done by yourself easily. You just main need is how to connect a activity with another activity, and all that is the different hard stuff you will get. See, you can just have to click on the text view present in your Android Studio, then drag and drop on your layout. Then you can even give what text you have to give from attributes only. So whole code is also on GitHub there. You can clone. So now how to add an image in your Android Studio, Android app. So we are going to add an image. Okay, Akash. So how to add a image view? You can directly get an image view from here. You can just drag and drop image view here. You will get option to select images like this. There are many options. Or the second way is to get image view from this XML layout file. The tag and click on this image view, wrap content, height and width. And what? Now we need to allocate the image to this image view. For that, we just need some images in our files out here. So we are just going to download image. Okay. We are downloading image. So you can see this is all our images. Download the file, then download. Control C, copy the file to your Android Studio. Click on this drawable, then Control V, paste the file. Click on this OK. Change to birthday. You can see this. You have got your image out here. So your images now came in the Android Studio. Now you can call your image in image view. Just write src. It will src. You are providing the source location. So what is our source location? So we are in the images in drawable. Give at the rate drawable. So options are already provided. That image name is birth cake. So select that. Now you can see in design that we have got a image here. Happy birthday, Sam. And the image is already in our layout. So in this way, we will add an image. Now run our application. Now you can see that our image is loaded, but it is cutting this part, over part. It's going over. So in this, we are going to insert our image. So right now you don't have any coding part, main coding part out there. Now we have learned about how to add text view and an image view and an application. Design view. Okay, Om. So in design view, I'm deleting this image view. In design view, just click on this image view, drag out here. You have already option that you what you have to select directly. So I have option of birth cake. So I'm selecting here. So I got random image, random out image. I'm just connecting it with resizing it, connecting with both the so that it don't overlap them. This way you can add image from design view also. Just launching activity. Now you can see images also loaded. So in this way you can insert image in your Android application. What's next in our pathway? Okay. You can give practice trying by other views. Then just take the cues of this image view, this pathway, that build the basic layout one. what we have next in our schedule. So next we are going to talk about why Kotlin is better as compared to Android. As we have seen as you know that in Java language we have to write more numbers of code. Some Java issues which are addressed in Kotlin, as Java is the Kotlin is the advanced version of Java. That's why Kotlin is in boom right now. Every company is just shifting their base from Java to Kotlin, their applications from Java to Kotlin. The null reference are controlled by type systems. So null references mean if you declare a variable and if you don't assign values to it and you don't use those variables, you get a null null error in your Java code, but it's solved in this Kotlin language. Then arrays in Kotlin are invariant. If you compared according to the size of codes, Kotlin reduces 40% the code what Java has and that Kotlin does not add. Primitive types that are not classes, static members, ternary operators, which are now replaced with if expressions. So this is the advantage of Kotlin over Java programming. It reduces the 40% of numbers of lines estimately. It have some functions like extension. Extension means after writing some one function you can give extend to another function, right? We will get this in our next program, our programs and our next application. We are going to use these extension functions in our next applications. Is Kotlin compatible with Java programming? Yes, Kotlin is compatible with Java programming language as it is based on Java programming language JVM. It's based on Java Virtual Machine. Kotlin is also based on Java Virtual Machine. You can even interpol the Java code in your Kotlin code. So Kotlin is used for any kind of development, server side, client side, Android, native, even working. It's developers are working for its cross platform also, so that it you can just write your code in one language and for one interface, and you can use your applications in on different platforms like web, iOS, and Android. Yes, one last pathway is there. We are just going to conclude in some minutes. Move to the last pathway. So our last pathway is how to add a button to your Android application. So here we are going to create an app named as Dice Roller app. So before we begin, there's some important knowledge about Kotlin's functions, classes and object concepts also. So how to roll a random number using Kotlin program. So how to use random function. We are just as we talked this, we have provided a range to dice, that is 1 to 6. You cannot have more numbers than 6 on a dice, and random number equals to dice dot range. This is the extension function, that you are just using a variable and you are extending with a using a function, predefined function. So that dice range is having value of 1 to 6. We are going to use this random to have random outputs from 1 to 6. So we are going on Kotlin playground so that we can use these codes. So dice, we have defined a variable named as dice range, and it's given, we have given range from 1 to 6, and the variable named as random number, which will get a random number from dice range by using a random function, and we are printing that random number out here. So as I told you that for printing any variable, we use this dollar curly braces and number curly braces closed. We run, what we get, to random number 2. If we run again, 4. So in this way we are going to get a random number from this random function. So here we are going to learn how to create dice class functions in Kotlin language whole. How to write So in this way we we defined a class dice curly braces open and close. Then we are declaring a variable where side. So instead of class, that means object of class, that is our first dice, that means having first one dot, then giving second, third. This is whole dice class, and it has in this instances like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The whole dice class having some object instances. So my first dice equals to dice. This is dice class. So we are printing our first dice dot sides. 8 sides. These are the 6 sides, which are the instance of a class. And then fun roll in row. This is a roll. When we are rolling, we get some different sides every time we roll. It might get some same side after one another. Yes, Smith, you are right. Val is used for fixed value. As we have already used random function, we have assigned random number 1 to 6. Instead of writing a number, then assigning it range, we have directly assigned range from 1 to 6 dot random function, and we have got, then we are printing a random number. number. Function role. This is our code to get here. We are going to get a random number from this range from 1 to 6 using a random function. It will give you random output. And here we are calling our this calling our role function. So this is our whole code. So val first name equals to dice. This is the object of dice class. Now we are calling print how many sides are there using object of this dice class. My first side equals to dice dot dice. Then my first dice dot roll. We are calling this roll function using object, and this is our class dice, which is having a var type variable sides, which is 6, and a function roll, which is used to give our random output. Now you can see how many sides we have: 6 sides and random number one, random output we are getting while rolling a dice. So now go to again. So we are writing an int type variable. If you want to have your variable or return type, you can use this colon and provide give the return type. That is, it will return a int data type, value of int data type. But roll is going to return an int type data type instead of printing random number. Now as it's returning, we have to print the value of this dice roll. So your six-sided dice rolled six. So now we are going in an Android Studio and creating a dice rolling app. So we have create APK application Android Studio, new activity. Now taking Code Lab to create an interactive dice roller app. Next, and we will create an empty APK. Go to your layout. Go to layout, design, click on this button, drag and drop this button. You will get your button. Click on this hello world, delete this, rename. Now you can see name has got changed from button to roll dice. And just provide ID. We have added a button to our application. So this is a main file, this one. Now in this application, we are going to work on the main application main .kt file, that is a main activity file. So this is a predefined code written in our application. This is a main activity, and this will create our XML file. This creates our XML file and start our activity. These are the code defines here. Okay, now we will call our connector a button here with in activity, so it will perform some task while we click on that. This way we call our, this is the syntax, so it's type is button. We have defined a variable role whose type is button. Connect it with connect this with design this button. We have to find its ID by um, we can do this by this function find I ID. Then we have to define R, that is R source, and ID, its ID, and what ID we have given to it, that's role. This is, so we have connected our this button in here XML file. So we can use those button function using this role variable. Now we are going to perform one more stuff, that is when we will click on this button, it is going to perform some task. For that role, that is a variable dot, to perform some task we use set on click listener, which means when we will click something it will perform some task. This is the syntax. So now we are going to uh, get the pop-up message. For that we are to get pop-up message we use a toast. So this is used to make a pop-up toast, a pop-up message in our application. You can see this, what will happen. Now you can see when I click on this button. So anyone having some doubt? I will continue from here in the next lecture, next session. Or if anyone has any problem while doing work in this Android Studio with creating application, they can connect with me personally. I'm just sharing links one again. If you get to learn something and want to share, you can use this hashtag, hashtag Android Study Jam, hashtag TCPU, hashtag Tinkering Hub. These all are the links I've just shared once again. Here's the link of slides too, a YouTube channel link. Thanks for being here. You can